All right, today we're diving into something truly incredible. We're going to follow the amazing and often dangerous life journey of India's sea turtles. It's a story that's millions of years old, full of epic travels, and a desperate fight to survive. So let's get right into it.
So, I'm guessing you've probably seen a tortoise before, right? At a zoo or something, just chillin', moving super slow. But what about its ocean-going cousin, the sea turtle? And that is the huge difference. See, unlike their relatives on land, sea turtles are true creatures of the ocean. They spend almost their entire lives out in the sea, which is why actually seeing one is such a rare and amazing thing. They're reptiles, yeah, but they are completely built for a life in the water. So to really get this story, we've got to first meet these ancient mariners, the ones that call India's coastal waters home. Okay, so on a global scale, the sea turtle family, it's a pretty exclusive club. There are only 7 species known to exist on the entire planet. That's it. But here's the thing that's just amazing. Of those 7 species in the whole world, a whopping 5 of them are found right here, swimming in the waters off the coast of India. We're talking about the olive ridley, the hawksbill, the green sea turtle, the loggerhead, and the absolutely massive leatherback. And the size difference between them? It's just wild. On one end of the scale, you have the smallest, the olive ridley, which weighs up to about 35 kilos. But on the other end, you have the leatherback, which can get up to 700 kilos. I mean, that's literally like a small car swimming around out there. Just incredible. But for all that time they spend in the sea, there's this one thing, this one powerful, unbreakable connection to the land. It's a deep, primal instinct that they just can't ignore. The females have to come back to the shore to lay their eggs. And that brings us to the story of a mother's journey. And believe me, it is tough. We're going to zoom in on the olive ridley to really understand this incredible, difficult nesting process. So picture this. Every year between January and March, something magical happens. Under the cover of darkness, female olive ridleys start hauling themselves out of the ocean and onto the sandy beaches along India's coasts. And this whole process, wow, it's a monumental struggle. Her flippers, which are so perfect and graceful for swimming, are just clumsy on land. It takes a huge amount of effort for her to drag herself up the beach to a safe spot. Then, using only her back flippers, she carefully scoops out a nest about 45 centimeters deep. She then lays around 100 eggs before covering it all up to hide it, and then completely exhausted, she drags herself back to the safety of the sea. And each of those 100 or so eggs, just try to imagine it. They're about the size and shape of a ping pong ball. Soft, leathery, and just so vulnerable. And with that, the mother's job is over. She's back in the ocean, and the eggs are left all alone, incubating in the warm sand. But for the eggs, the danger is just getting started. They're at risk from jackals, from stray dogs, and even from people who might follow the mother's tracks to dig them up. All right, so for the lucky few that survive incubation, we get to the most dramatic part of this entire story. The great, incredibly dangerous race of a tiny hatchling trying to make it to the sea. So after about 45 to 60 days, they're ready to break out. And nature has given them this awesome little tool to do it. A tiny, razor-sharp point on their snout called an egg tooth. They use it to literally slash their way out of that leathery shell. They manage to push their way up through all that sand and finally pop out onto the beach. Now think about this. They weigh less than 20 grams. I mean, that's nothing. And from that very second they hit the air, it's a mad dash for their lives. And the threats are coming from literally everywhere. You've got crabs on the sand trying to grab them, birds swooping down from the sky. And even if they make it to the water, there are fish and other predators waiting right there in the shallows. It's just an insane gauntlet of danger. So, what are the chances really? Well, scientists figure that for every single 1,000 hatchlings that make that mad dash, only one, just one, actually survives to become an adult. 1 in 1,000. And this is where the story comes full circle to how this ancient, incredibly delicate cycle is now up against some very modern threats. Because here is maybe the most mind-blowing part of all. Those 1 in 1,000 survivors, after years and years out in the open ocean, they have this incredible built-in GPS. The adult females somehow navigate across thousands of kilometers of ocean to come back to the exact same beach where they were born, all to start the cycle over again.
And this just shows you how incredibly sensitive this whole process is. Get this, the very sex of the hatchlings is decided by how warm the sand is. As you can see, if it's a little cooler, you get males. A little warmer, you get females. It's a super delicate natural balance, and you can imagine how something like climate change could easily throw it all out of whack.
But that delicate balance is being thrown way off. For millions of years, they've handled natural dangers, no problem. But now, in just the last few decades, our activities have put them in grave danger. We're talking about hunting, pollution, all the plastics we dump in the ocean, and building too close to the beaches they need to nest.
You know, these amazing creatures have been making this journey for millions and millions of years. They've survived so much for so long. The real question is, are we going to be the ones to make sure their ancient journey can continue?